The Panama Canal, a journey through time. Long before the first shovel broke ground, there was a dream. In 1513, Spanish explorer Vasco Núñez de Balboa crossed the Isthmus of Panama and beheld the Pacific Ocean. He realized this narrow strip of land, merely 50 miles wide, was all that separated two great oceans. For centuries, ships sailing from Europe to America's west coast faced a 13,000-mile journey around Cape Horn, taking 5 to 8 months through treacherous waters. The French believed they could cut through. In 1881, Ferdinand de Lesseps, fresh from building the Suez Canal, began excavating. He was 76 years old and supremely confident. 22,000 workers descended upon Panama, bringing tools and hope. But Panama wasn't Egypt. The French planned a sea-level canal through mountains and jungle, fighting the temperamental Chagres River that could rise 20 feet overnight. The true enemy was invisible. Mosquitoes bred everywhere, carrying yellow fever and malaria. Between 1881 and 1889, over 22,000 workers died. Hospital beds stood in water containers meant to protect floors, perfect mosquito breeding grounds. Doctors blamed miasma from swamps and sealed windows, trapping mosquitoes inside with patients. French engineer Jules Dingler arrived with his family, confident they'd stay healthy. Within months, his daughter, son, and wife all died of yellow fever. Bodies were preserved in barrels of rum for transport. 20 to 30 funerals were conducted daily. The French spent approximately $287 million before declaring bankruptcy on February 4, 1889. Over 800,000 French citizens lost their savings. A second company formed in 1894, excavating another 10 million cubic yards, keeping the dream alive. The Spanish-American War taught America a lesson. The USS Oregon took 67 days to sail 14,000 miles around South America. President Theodore Roosevelt, who took office in 1901, became obsessed with building a canal. But Panama was Colombian territory. When Colombia rejected the Hay-Heron Treaty offering $10 million, Roosevelt was furious. Panama had attempted independence in 1830, 1840, and 1850. On November 3, 1903, Panama declared independence again. Only one person died. The USS Nashville arrived the day before, and American forces prevented Colombian troops from using the railway. Within days, America recognized Panama as independent. Just 15 days later, the Hay-Buenaventura Treaty gave America a 10-mile-wide zone in perpetuity. Panama received $10 million plus $250,000 annually. The U.S. purchased French assets for $40 million in 1904. John Finley Wallace became chief engineer in 1904 but resigned after 1 year. John Frank Stevens arrived in July 1905 and understood infrastructure came first. He summoned Dr. William Crawford Gorgas, who requisitioned 120 tons of insecticide powder. When officials mocked him, Stevens threatened to resign unless Gorgas received full support. Gorgas fumigated over 1 million buildings. The last yellow fever case occurred in September 1905. Stevens proposed locks lifting ships 85 feet to an artificial lake. In January 1906, the Senate voted 36 to 31 for locks. A train departed the Culebra Cut every 8 minutes at peak. Stevens resigned in February 1907. Major George Washington Goethals arrived in March 1907, holding open Sunday at Culebra sessions where anyone could voice concerns. At peak in 1913, approximately 56,000 workers labored. The Culebra Cut required digging 270 feet down through 9 miles. 102 steam shovels worked simultaneously. Approximately 30,000 pounds of dynamite exploded daily. The Americans removed 232 million cubic yards from the cut, total excavation exceeded 268 million cubic yards. Gatun Dam stretched nearly 1.5 miles, rising 105 feet. Gatun Lake covered 164 square miles, making it the world's largest man-made lake. The dam required 17 million cubic yards of material. Lock chambers measured 110 feet wide and 1,000 feet long, requiring 4.4 million cubic yards of concrete. Gates weighed between 390 and 730 tons. 18-foot diameter culverts could fill a chamber in 8 minutes. Pacific tides ranged up to 20 feet, Atlantic tides rarely exceeded 2 feet. Workers came from over 90 countries. West Indians earned 10 cents per hour versus 40+ cents for Americans. The official American death toll was approximately 5,600. Combined with French deaths, over 25,000 died, roughly 500 per mile. On October 10, 1913, President Wilson triggered the Balboa dike explosion from Washington. The cement boat Cristobal made the first complete transit on August 3, 1914, taking 9 hours and 40 minutes. Archduke Franz Ferdinand was assassinated June 28, 1914. The official opening occurred August 15, 1914, with the SS Ancon making the first official transit. The world was at war, celebrations were muted. The canal reduced the journey by 2,800 miles. The United States spent approximately $375 million. Over 1,000 ships transited the first year. Average tolls were 90 cents per ton. Richard Halliburton paid 36 cents to swim through in 1928. A major slide closed the canal in September 1915. The canal zone encompassed 553 square miles under U.S. law. By 1929, over 6,000 ships transited annually. During World War II, more than 5,000 ships transited yearly. Panamax specifications became standard, 1,000 feet long, 110 feet wide. In 1964 riots, 21 Panamanians and 4 American soldiers died. The Torrijos-Carter treaties were signed in 1977. Full Panamanian control took effect December 31, 1999, at noon. The expansion completed in 2016 cost over $5 billion. Today, approximately 14,000 ships transit annually, carrying 6% of global trade. The canal employs thousands of Panamanians and generates significant national revenue. From Balboa's first glimpse to today's container ships, the Panama Canal represents humanity's determination to reshape the world. As you drift towards sleep, imagine ships gliding through century-old locks, floating over submerged valleys, crossing a continent through a channel carved by millions of hands. The jungle grows thick on either shore, patient as always, but the waterway endures, connecting oceans, connecting centuries, fulfilling the impossible dream.